All right, Simon, this is the first video. This is on Christian's profile, from what I could tell, okay, like what kind of fighter he is. Overall, he is a really smart guy in the way that he fights, you know. He's a bit, how do you say, tentative, you know. He doesn't like taking risks too much. He makes a few mistakes, and you can tell he doesn't like getting hit. Nobody likes getting hit, but he particularly doesn't like getting hit. So smart. He's also tough. You know, he doesn't look like it, and he often looks like he's trying to look for an out. But I think that actually brings the toughness in him. You know, when he gets hit, he doesn't like. He's a bit tentative. But so be careful with that. He likes to win the last minutes of the rounds. And that's something that I noticed, that he will let, you know, guys work and stuff, and then the last few minutes of a round, that's when he starts putting in work. He reacts more than he acts, so he's a very reactive fighter, but often without a plan B. Like, he knows what he's going to do, and if it doesn't work out his way, he needs to reset. More on that in a moment. So let's go on what are things that he can do well. He's light on his feet. And he moves both feet at the same time. You know, I don't know if he has a background in karate or boxing, or if it's something he did by himself. I think he doesn't have a background in boxing. He likes to use fakes. You know, he's got good offensive angles. So when he does strike, when he chooses to, he's usually in a good position. You know, he's got really good eyes. And by good eyes, I mean he knows how to react really well to first strikes that come his way. He seldom gets caught with a first strike, usually a second or a third. So combinations will be important. And also with good eyes, he's, you know, very good at downloading information, man. This guy is really good at reading dudes. Physically, doesn't seem very strong. I mean, probably can crack, but he's got good eyes, so be careful with that. More of that in a moment. He's got good head movement before he strikes, but however, really bad while he strikes, because he does this a little bit, you know. More on that in a moment. He's got a very long, deceptive, solid left hook that he uses offensively. You know, I saw him use it defensively, but doesn't work as good because he doesn't move backwards very well. He's got a very clean straight right, and these things, right, are really, he uses it reactively, but without a plan B. We'll come to it later. When he throws a left hook, then he will drop his hand, and when he throws a straight right, afterwards he's usually off balance a little bit, and you can use that to your advantage to move on the side and then get takedowns later. Something to be really careful for, because he's tall, you know, and deceptive, and he might, I don't know how he's going to feel physically for you. He likes to strike on clinch breaks, all right? So when the clinch breaks, he goes for strikes. More on that later, on how you know, can avoid that. Where he sucks, so weaknesses, right? He's got a bad chin placement. So although for most of the time when he strikes, his chin is down, it's actually down here, you know? And his hands are not very high, it doesn't have to be tall, but the problem is that, yeah, sure, you're not going to catch him from anything coming from this side, but anything coming from that side, you can, and his chin will spin. I really recommend that you either go for like hard strikes down the middle here to his mouth and his nose, you know, from the side to his eye, because he doesn't bring his hands all the way up, you know, and when he does, he's open to the body, and he doesn't like getting hit to the body at all. Something I noticed. Takes him a bit to reset when he gets hit to the body. But this here means that your power strike should be coming from that way, all right? So from your left side, hopefully. More on that later. Let's talk about it now a little bit. If you want to, of course, you can swing with hooks and stuff. What I recommend is when you get close and then get to the side and hit him with straights, you know, then you'll be in a really good position to throw a straight right. If you're directly on his side after you made him cover up, you know, then even though he's got his chin down, he's still open right here, and that can make his head spin. So he's very stationary after kicks. So he kicks dudes and then he stops, right? Most importantly, this is something you can really use to your advantage, all right? He always backs away in straight lines. He's used to his reach, you know, so he thinks that he doesn't need to use defensive angles as much. Backs away in straight lines. So you know where he's gonna go. And when he does, you know he's gonna throw a left hook or he's gonna throw a straight right hand. So again, his head movement offensively bad during strikes while he's throwing. He likes to feint and has good fakes, you know, because he likes to read your reaction. However, he drops his hand every time he feints and every time he kicks too, which means that when he kicks, I think he's got good kicks. You know, they don't look flashy, they don't look fast or strong, but guys that he fought, the 2 videos that I saw, they can feel his kicks. You know, there's leverage in it, and he's very tall, and the weight is the weight, right? I don't know how heavy he is in the cage, but 85 and up probably. Weak body, you know. I don't know if it's the weight cut, if he's not conditioned, if he's a grappler, I have no idea. But he doesn't have that type of striker's body conditioning. He doesn't fold, but it clearly, visibly bothers him when he gets hit to the body. Something that's terrible on his side, I don't know if it's from lack of discipline or whatever it is, he seems to have really shitty shoulder endurance. If you work him in the clinch, he will not keep his hands up afterwards. Even before, he doesn't keep his hands high up. And you can tell it's not just from being lazy or from being tall. You can tell that oftentimes his shoulders tire easy. I think his arms are long, they're heavy. He doesn't have big muscles there, so you can use this to your advantage big time. I don't know how much that's going to affect in the grappling on the ground, but when it comes to striking, yeah, his shoulder endurance, no bueno. Use it to your advantage. I would clinch heavily in round 2 or 3, or if you're on the ground, make him use his hands, you know, for in a position that is in your advantage. This is super important. The next thing, right? This is just like along with when he's backing away in a straight line. This dude needs to reset every time, and it's a problem for him. He needs to reset. He attacks and then he resets, right? And when he's backing up, he takes 2 steps and resets every single time. 2 steps and resets from all 3 videos that I saw. It's a habit. You can use this to your advantage, all right? When it comes to the fight in general, I'll give you the advice on the next video, but the resets and the counters are going to be super important for you, especially disrupting his resets. More on that in a moment.